The joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. That's a good song to keep in mind instead of the Love Boat. I don't remember all the words. It's been very many years. And there was another one. Fantasy Island. I don't remember that one. But I think if you haven't seen the Island movie, you better see it quick. Because I think that might be it. Between that and the Love Boat and the Titanic movie, we might be seeing a true story. So here's the thing. Don't mind that guy's noise. He loves me. At least he doesn't try to get me in trouble for being here. So it's all good. That's the kind of golden rule stuff, you know what I mean? Because that's a little key about a little prayer. Like, somebody drives by like that, and you're kind of struggling to get by, you know. People are like, dude, you shouldn't be, you know, whatever. Okay, well, here's the thing, see? If you have a situation like that, or like, I'm a little nervous, you can just pray real quick, silently. Like, Lord, help him not to hate me, and help him to, be protected or whatever. Like, I want you to protect me. And then you get, prayer habits, you know? Good things. So, anyway, that's the thing, see? Everybody wants to talk about, I'm saved by grace. I'm saved by grace. Are you saved by grace? If you're not saved by grace, it's by grace alone, you know. I got the thing down. I got it. It's like a song you sing, you know. And it just makes you feel so lovely. Love, but when that show started, you know, love, but all good. And I was a kid, you know, but it was like puberty time or whatever. And of course, they'd have these beautiful women that are just dressed so perfectly. And you're like a kid. You mean I could go on a boat like that with women that look like that? And just be like, what the heck? Almost in paradise already. Like the Island movie, similar, you know? Because, you know, we're Fantasy Island. It's just perfect, you know what I mean? Because that was a fantasy. And those guys thought that they were going to go to this island and it's going to be paradise, but they were being sacrificed. It was just a little under, you know, kind of a gaslight show. It's amazing. So, the thing is, according to your faith, it will be given you. So, it's a comedy show. If you look at it right, if there's good karma for you. But it's that golden rule thing, it works with the king. But if you're into Fantasy Island and Cloud 9 shows, the Love Boat, there's a boat coming for you. But see, that's in that 7 seas of lies, because there is a book somewhere in the epistles, and I don't follow them that closely because right now I'm really into Matthew. But somewhere Paul says, I don't remember if it's Ephesians or one of those. Corinthians are my favorites. But especially chapter 3, 1 Corinthians 3. If you haven't been there yet, that's what really is a remnant chapter, full on. I mean, you put that with Revelation 7 and you can wake up real quick to what's really going on. So help this guy, Lord. Help him not to hate me. You say, what is this guy camping out here? Yeah, I'll be out of here in a second, buddy. Just pass the trouble time, So anyway, here's the thing, is if you have faith of a mustard seed like this, that's it right there. This guy that could bug me and stress me out and I might get all whatever. Or I can pray for him. And that's how we need to think about all these things, like the king and all these things. We just pray for people because they're in a fog, but the Spirit's got to take them out of it. We can only put so much seed, and that's the key, you know? But part of it is that E.M. Bounds, in some of his prayer books, said that it always works better to talk about people to God first before you talk to any people about God. Because if you talk to God about people, then there's more God in you showing you what to say to people about God. And I tried it, and it works really good, because when I used to paint houses, like, there was one customer, I love him. He, like, had a car dealership with what's his name? I forget. He's a really nice guy, though. And his car dealer is in San Diego or whatever, and he lives in Carlsbad. Like, had a beautiful house. And his wife wanted to change the color. And it was like, wow. It was going from, like, an off-white to, like, salmon, you know? I mean, it was like a salmon color. I thought it was cool because it was right by the beach. So I was like, yeah, cool. I mean, it was, depending on how you look at salmon, whatever. A red. So anyway, when I painted the house, I had to bid it. And, well, it was a big house. So I prayed about it, and I said, well, Lord, help me to be honest. But I'd really love to get this job because these people are really nice. And I painted the house next door, so it almost looked like I was going to get the job. And the people had money, but I'm not like that kind of, I wasn't that kind of contractor that would be like, dude, I could make big bucks on this. You know what I mean? But it was, I mean, I wasn't like, I was charging a good hourly rate. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, but I don't like to talk about all that, you know, it's like, whatever. It was the rate. It was like $40 an hour or whatever. It was really good. But it was like a normal rate at the time, because my boss was charging $55 an hour for my work. So I knew it was still a good deal in that, you know, range what my work was for, because I worked for Bill Gates and stuff. So I knew my work got 55. So it wasn't like I was like overcharging, but I was doing it, you know. But I looked at everything based on that hourly rate, and I said, well, I said to the guy, because I was like, I think his name, Dixon, I think. And I said, well, you know, here's the thing. It could be like 5,000, but it could also be 8. And I said, but I don't want to be messed up and tell you it's 5, and then, oh no, it's 8,000. And that's like 3. And I said, I don't usually bid like that, because there was a lot of cracks in the walls, and I was like, I need to fix these things. And patches in stucco, when it's nice stucco, can be just like a nightmare, because I'm not a stucco expert, but I've patched plenty. But like drywall, I've patched even more. And when you do patching, you have to blend it right. And one time I did a patch for a customer, and it was really funny, because he had it in the ceiling. He was like, hey, can you fix this hole? And I was like, yeah, I think I can fix it, but just give me a little while. And yeah, sure. And so he, like, I think he left and came back, and I did it in like a couple hours or whatever, and I had some other things I had to do. And so he came back, and he was just staring at the ceiling, and he's like, where did it go? And I'm like, it's right there. And he's like, but I can't even see it. And I'm like, well, that's the plan. Like, isn't that what you wanted? Just like on those stucco walls. I was like, that's what you wanted, right? And he's like, what? Yeah, but I thought I could see it, like where it was, because that was a really bad, like, it was like all totally peeling, and it was basically a hole. I mean, you had to like take off drywall tape and everything because there was a leak. It was just a nightmare. But I mean, nightmare for a patch. It wasn't a real quickie. I had to use hot mud on it and dry it and all these things and then paint it. But he was just so in shock. Like, I can't believe. And I'm like, well, what do you expect? It reminds me of that other job. And I'm like, well, that's how it's supposed to be. If you could see it, that would be bad. Like, hello. I wanted to say obviously, but I didn't, because I don't like it. It's like insulting to say that. So So at this other job, it was like, hey, the stucco, it's gonna need a lot of work. So hey, you know what? I could tell you 5,000, but I'm gonna tell you it could be 8. But I don't know. But I'll just look at the hourly rate, and whatever it comes out to, I'll just give you that. And so it's not gonna be a lose either way. And he was fine with that. It was like the best bid I ever did because it was totally honest. But I just didn't know. And I had to do a lot of patching and a ton of touch-up because I painted it in one coat. But that was back when Frazee had great, was it Duratec? It was great paint. And like it covered in one coat, but there was like, with stucco, when you roll, you get a really good coat, but especially if you're changing the color, the paint's got to be perfect and you got to be perfect. And well, if you're doing one coat, there's a lot of touch up. So I had a lot, like I think touch up with towels for days, literally. But the thing was, I used a lot of paint. I don't remember. It was like 25 gallons, a ton of paint. But at the end, when it was done, I went to him and I was like, hey, it's like 5,800. And he was fine with it. He was all happy. And the reason is because it was a golden rule thing. I earned it, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make so much money. You see what I mean? So, and the patches all came out good. So there wasn't a problem. You see what I mean? But like, there was another job that I had once, and this guy came and he goes, hey man, can you paint my house? And it was a big house too in San Marcos. And I was like, yeah, sure. And he goes, I just need a price. Like this guy already gave me a price. It's 1,900. So if you can do it for that, just let me know. And I'm like, I hadn't even seen the house, but I'd like knew the area and knew it was a 2-story house. And I was already like, you know what? If it's 1,900, I can't touch that. Whatever that guy's doing, go with it. Because if he can do it for that, I don't know what he's doing, but I can't paint that cheap. Sorry, buddy. I mean, that's like $5 an hour. I can't do it. I mean, I love you and all. But because he was like, I knew him. I mean, not that well, but he was kind of like a friend, or whatever. And so when he said, okay, so he went with the other guy, and then he called me like, after, and he's like, hey man, can you come back and like still do that job? And I was like, well, I thought you got that guy. And he's like, well, yeah, but he did a patch. See, that was part of the job because he had like crashed his car into the stucco wall. And that's like the hardest patch of all. And I don't like to do those patches because it's like, I'm not a stucco guy, but I patch a lot, but that's not the kind of patching I do usually. So when I do a patch perfect, I want to do it like the drywall, but if I can't do it, I got to like know my limits. And that's the key to it all, So it was really funny because when I came, the patch that the guy had started was, oh dear, it almost looked like he hadn't even seen it.